Even everyone. I'm Thor Gunderson, and welcome once again to Just Asking for a Friend. This is a show, as you know by now. We go out into the collecting community. We meet collectors, content creators, sculptors, artists, people from the industry, all walks of life through the collecting community. And tonight, this man I first met on the Sick Mansion Saturday Night Raw show. I found out later I had COVID, so I was kind of out of it, so I really couldn't interact too much. But I really been wanted to chat with this man for a long time because whether he knows it or not, I'm a big admirer of his. I've watched some of his shows. I watched him on the Six Show, and a lot of stuff I agree with his points and everything. He's an avid DC fan, DC collector, and he has the aptly named FRI the Kollector YouTube channel. I introduce you now to FRI the Kollector. Welcome to the show.
What up, my man Thor?
I'm good, man. Long time, it's been a while and everything, but I've been looking forward to this one, man. I've been looking forward to this one. How you doing?
Man, I'm blessed, man. Highly favored, and
amen.
Right now, I'm just trying to get my room tour together, get my room nice and neat, man. I think that is one of the most important things for the collector, to have a clean display like the one behind you.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I got, like you said, I got to clean up some of these wires, man. Like you can see someone from a distance, but you get close, it's a lot, especially on the bottom. Like there's no statue because it's like those two rows, and then on the bottom there's four more. There's no statues down there, but it's a lot of wires down there. So I just got to find a way to hide them wires, But thanks, man. I appreciate it, and I'm looking forward to the room. I've always liked your background, even though I'm sure that's just a little part of it, Yeah. But I can't wait to see the room tour, man.
Man, I appreciate it, man. Yeah, I love bust. I think one of my first, if not the first bust that I ever got was that Batman right there. So
okay, that's the OG one, right?
Yeah. Got that directly off Sideshow. I confirmed and went back. That was the first bust I ever ordered. Yeah. Then I ended up getting the Superman of the same line, and I had to hunt down that Joker.
Joker.
I paid almost 3 times what they were asking.
Yeah, well, we're gonna get into that. We're gonna get in that, but like I like to start off with because we try to get to know you, the collector behind the collection. I like to start off with where you grew up and everything, and how that translated into how you started to get into pop culture, and then how that led into collecting and everything. So
absolutely,
yeah.
Well, I grew up in Chicago, South Side, neighborhood called Inglewood.
Okay.
Inglewood. It's considered a rough neighborhood, but I didn't really see it that way when I was young. And from there, I moved to another neighborhood called the Leclerc Court Projects. So for me, that was a weird transition because that was like the southwest side of the city. And I wasn't too happy that my mom, sent us out there. Took us out there. That's how I felt. But actually, the experiences in both neighborhoods, made me who I am today, So pop culture and how I got into it. I mean, growing up, loving watching the TV shows, Saturday morning cartoons, right off the cup, I could tell you Thundercats.
There you go.
The Batman animated series.
Oh, yeah.
Then Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Man, G.I. Joe.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
The Transformers. Those shows like that, man. Those were the shows that growing up. He-Man, of course.
Yeah.
And of course, you want to buy the action figure.
Right.
You got to have the action figure.
Right.
And so that's where it started. But back then, you wasn't taught the value of keeping them. You know what I'm saying? And I wish the one to rock and one to stock was a thing back then, because I would have a lot of valuable, action figures that I wish I would have had. But unfortunately, we did all kinds of things with those G.I. Joes. I remember you get the bad guy, you take a firecracker and you put it in a little hole. They had the rubber band.
Yeah, in the back.
When you catch them, they get tortured and you blow the little figure up. Because we didn't really think about the value of it. Money was not a concept that you really, brought into the equation. Of course, your mother found out you blew up a G.I. Joe. You're like, I'm not buying no more toys for y'all. But as boys, we were destructive, man. We used to play in the mud, in the trees with these G.I. Joes and all these figures, taking like thread and having them zip line and all. Man, just having fun as a kid. So we didn't really think about the value of collecting them. As I got older, you know, reminiscing on childhood, the nostalgia of it. I remember when I first, like the first piece that I got that I actually felt that I bought as a collectible was an Allen Iverson McFarlane. And I thought it was pretty cool because they got like the static poses, and I think he was like doing a layup. And it was at GameStop, and they were like 50% off. And I'm like, these not bad. And I picked him up, and then I picked up some more. Then they started bringing out the NFL characters, buying those, and then just kind of displaying them. And then I got into the Spawn figures from McFarlane, the ones that they had the base, same type of concept. So that's where it kind of started. Yeah, where I started really just collecting.
So did you have a single mom, and how many siblings did you have?
Yeah. I grew up with a single mom.
Me too.
My brother was a year and 3 months younger than me. Unfortunately, he passed away back in 2009
I'm so
from
sorry.
a bronchial shutdown. And it's funny because I got his PlayStation 3, I think, and I decorated with a portrait of him.
Oh wow!
So that's my system that'll never leave. My collection. I have it in my display under my TV. So then I have a sister that's 10 years younger, and I have another sister that's 27 now. So man, I remember she was born. I was going into the military shortly after that. So and then I did connect with my family, my father, them when I was 29. So, and 3 more sisters through my father.
Same
total
thing.
of 5 sisters.
Same thing.
And one brother, unfortunately, he went home to be with the Lord. But
amen.
Those things happen. You know, that's one thing that's promised in life: the day you born and the day you die.
Yes,
everything in between is what you make of it. You know, so. But a lot of that nostalgia comes from those times I spent with my brother too, playing video games. That's part of the nostalgia. You know, playing with the toys. So yeah, that's pretty much my family there. And of course, my uncle, that's my father's youngest brother. So when I met the family, he was the one that I got closest to. Y'all will see him on the show, on Funkle Fridays and on the Kool Nerdz Lounge show. So that's like my brother now,
Right. So so a couple things. I've never been to Chicago. I've always wanted to go. Yeah. I remember there's a funny story about Chicago, like not really about Chicago, but you'll see what I mean. So I was going, my former barber. I'm sitting in the chair. It was full. Barbershop was full. Next thing you know, the UPS man come in, and they all the barbers, it's here. Everybody looking at each other. What the hell is wrong with these people? So they start opening. But it was Garrett's popcorn, right? Yeah. They opening stuff, and one of the barbers, his wife is from Chicago. And they dig it. I said, man, what's going on? He told this literally what he said. Man, I need 2 kernels. He said, what? 2 kernels. So he gave me that. He said, man, try this. And I said, that was the best popcorn I ever had in my life. I said, okay, now I understand. But man, they was ripping this popcorn open and everything, And so I've always wanted to go to Chicago. Now, another thing about the McFarlanes, I used to have a few McFarlanes because I'm a Jets fan. I'm a Jets fan. But the first one I had was Wayne Corbett. And I remember, he was like on, because how he always just dive for the ball, and he like in the air. And I had that. I got a few now actually. I haven't displayed them, but I got a we call Brett Favre when he was a Jet. I got Namath, of course, and Curtis Martin, and I think Revis. And so I used to have a few of those. Those were good pieces. And I like you said, I like had the little square at the bottom, with a little piece of the field and everything. And so those were cool.
I got them in storage, in totes and stuff, but. Yeah, my favorite players, of course, was Walter Payton. But I had some players I liked on other teams. Steve Young, Jerry Rice. Yeah. My all-time favorite player, though, in NFL history is Terrell Owens.
Oh wow!
I love Terrell Owens' game. I love the cockiness because to me, sports should have an element of cockiness. To me, that's what brings the dog out of you. And that's why I like kind of football more than basketball right now.
Me too.
They still got that dog in them. Although sports have softened, but Terrell Owens, man, that's one player that I love to meet. I couldn't stand how he was portrayed. I always thought that he was a model citizen. He never got in trouble with the
No, he
law.
didn't.
The dude took care of himself. He didn't drink. You just didn't hear stories about him with a bunch of different women. And to me, he was a consummate professional, talking trash and being passionate about a sport and complaining about not getting paid when you play with a broken leg. I don't understand how you get scrutinized for that. The man played in the Super Bowl with a broken leg and had to sign a waiver. But I still got that McFarlane character. That's one I would never get rid of.
Would you say he's the best player you've ever seen, or is that just your favorite player?
The best wide receiver and the best player that ever played football, in my opinion, is Jerry Rice. He's the most complete, perfect football player that I ever seen, because he didn't have the size, strength, and athleticism of a Terrell Owens, but he had a mentality to work hard and to understand how to run those routes and to get open seamlessly all the time. It's like, how is Jerry Rice open? How does he have 206 touchdowns by receiver? And even the players of the day, and it's a passing game, and it don't seem like his record could ever be eclipsed.
Thank you.
But Jerry Rice once said that Randy Moss was born to be the best wide receiver ever, but he kind of squandered everything that he had. He said, I will pick Terrell Owens because of his work ethic. He said Terrell Owens knows the playbook better than a quarterback.
Wow.
Plus, he's 225 pounds and he has 7% body fat and he works hard. If he would have been allowed to play, and I think he probably still can play today, at least 3 more seasons and put on the Contender, he could have probably left with a ring, all the yards. I don't think he would have touched Jerry Rice's record on touchdowns, but I think he would have had the most yards, most catches, and I think he could have got a ring if they would have put him in that situation. But he is my all-time favorite. The GOAT is Jerry Rice. The GOAT running back is Walter Payton. Yeah, that's how I look at it.
I'll say this real quickly. The best football player I've ever seen, I know we got Brady and all this stuff. To me, the best football player I've ever seen is Lawrence Taylor.
He'll be
like that was, I mean, the stuff he could do with his size and everything. And to me, that's why I laugh nowadays when they be talking about Aaron Donald. I know Aaron Donald got all these records and everything, but Lawrence Taylor won MVP of the league. Now, we ain't talking about defensive player of the year. And a few years he played, the sack wasn't an official stat, but you know, and I heard this story one time about Lawrence Taylor, the Washington football, where it was called back in the day. They would get ready to play the Giants that week. And you know how in organized football, you got to have somebody simulate the player that you're going to play against. So they had nobody quick enough to simulate how quick Lawrence Taylor was. So to simulate Lawrence Taylor, they had Darrell Green go up against the left tackle because that's the only person they had that was literally quick enough to simulate Lawrence Taylor's speed. Yeah. And I was like, that said all right there. You know what I mean? And I be talking to these Ray Lewis people. I said, I think Ray Lewis might be the greatest middle linebacker all time. I said, greatest linebacker? No, it ain't even close. Yeah. So that's just my opinion.
No, Lawrence Taylor ain't no punk, man. Defensive players, he definitely.
But he wasn't no model citizen. So, like T.O.
Yeah, but when you said Tom Brady, I never considered him the GOAT because Tom Brady got caught cheating. Not once, not twice, not 3 times, more than that. And to me, that's that as a sports fan, that's a stain. So I'm it's just like a bubble championship is a stain. Shortened seasons are a stain.
We're gonna talk about that later on too. This GOAT mess. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So anyway, how did, like, as far as getting into sideshow collecting, like what was your first piece and how you got into that?
I stumbled upon, and it was right when the MCU kind of started, and Hot Toys had this. They did that Iron Man figure, and I bought it on eBay actually. The Robert Downey Jr. the first Iron Man figure that Hot Toys ever made, and they have come a long way. So I was like, man, where do you find this stuff? Where do you buy this stuff? So I started researching, and then I stumbled upon Sideshow Collectibles. That's how I found Sideshow Collectibles, man. it started with a hot toy. I didn't start with a statue. So of course I told you about the McFarlane figures. Then I graduated to the hot toy, and I was like, man, this is pretty intriguing. Robert Downey Jr. was, the movies kind of drive your interest sometimes for that stuff. And I thought his return was, man, outstanding after all he had been through. And so I bought that figure on eBay. And then I'm like, I got to get more of these figures. I got to get more of these hot toys. So then, I stumbled upon Sideshow Collectibles. Yeah, best researching.
So do you still collect hot toys, or is it mostly statues now?
Yeah, I definitely still collect hot toys. I really, really still like hot toys. I like the posability of them. Statues, they do a lot and they're very beautiful. That don't get me wrong, but hot toys, man, for one, they cheaper.
True.
You can put more in a smaller space.
Right.
But I really, really, really still dig them, man. And a lot of people got out of them, but I see a lot of collectors that's in the statue community getting back into hot toys. I see a lot of that. Yeah, I see a lot of that, man.
I would say, okay, so I had a few, and when I first started, because I had 1/6 scale Jabba the Hutt, and I wanted to have like his whole little, have Bib Fortuna and we call Boba and all that. And then I just got them, and I was like, I was trying to pose. I said, I don't have the patience to pose this stuff. You know what I mean? But I will say this about hot toys: the people who can pose them and make those, the scenes that some of these people make with these hot toys is amazing. Yeah, and he poses and everything. It's just, I figured out I don't have the patience for that stuff. But so I never really went forward with hot toys. It took me a while to kind of find myself, because I was buying, when you first get into this thing, you buying everything. And I had XM Ghost Rider, and I had this ARH Medusa, because I was always a big time Clash of the Titans fan, even though I'm scared of snakes.
The ARH Medusa.
I used to have that.
Oh yeah, man. That's the one they kind of got her breasts exposed.
That one, yeah, that was the one, because it was two of them. It was one of them where she got like her coils wrapped around some dude. This one was like it was a column, like this like broken, and like part of her, the snake part is over it, and she's got this bow, and you could put like a breastplate on, you could have it with no breastplate. And it was two versions. I wanted they had one that was both rattlesnakes, but the one I wanted was brown, and it was like 50 of those. And I could never get it. The one I had was green. That was the one they had more of. And so I ended up selling it. If I ever find the green one, that might be the one time where I break my rule, because I always wanted that piece, nice. But it doesn't ship well. So I ended up getting it one year. This guy had it at New York Comic Con, and I ended up driving back home and bringing it. But yeah. But you mostly collect DC.
DC is my favorite. Okay. Batman is my favorite character. But like I said, I started with hot toys when I really got into real collecting, because after I found that Robert Downey Jr. piece, that was around 2012 when I got into hot toys. And then when I went on to Sideshow, that's when I ordered all the Avengers back in 2012 off their website. I got you. The first premium format that I got was it was a Batman, and he's standing on that gargoyle with like that all semi Captain Morgan pose. It's kind of regal.
You talking about the OG one? The OG. Yeah.
With the heavy cape.
Yeah.
All polystone, I think. Yeah. And that was the first statue that I ever bought. That was the first one. Yeah, and I never ever sell it. And they made a lot of those. they made a lot of them. But that piece had a slight leaning issue. And all that had to do was get like a little felt pad to put under it to kind of mediate that. But that's still a dope piece. He had the fabric cape, the fabric clothing. Yeah, it was all cut and sew. But I love the scope, and I still like it. It was the blue one or the black one? I think I got the black one.
Okay. Yeah. A lot of people not. I'm old school. Sound like you are too. I kind of like gray. It's black and gray. Yeah. That's the new one. I like that outfit better, but I always appreciated the blue outfit too, you know, because that when I was growing up, that's how he looked in the books and everything, you know. So, you know, some of these new cats, I don't like the blue stuff, you know. So
if you're a fan of Batman 66, that's like that bluish gray. Yeah, you know. Yeah, and Adam West was a beast. Matter of fact, it's funny you brought it up.
Oh, I see him. Yeah,
I got that hot toy right here.
There you go. They got it. They got a premium format of that too.
Yeah, I don't have that premium format.
Yeah, they got a premium format of Adam West.
This still hold up, man. In my collection, I'm definitely a Adam West fan.
Me too. That was first Batman I ever saw. Well, yeah, same bat time, same bat. That was the bomb back in the day. I mean, I still watch it if I can, but back in the day, that was the bomb. You know what I mean?
Holy snot bubbles, Batman.
Yeah. And
Robin, to the Batmobile.
That's you know what? That's still my favorite Batmobile. They done came out with all these tumblers and all that stuff. That's still my favorite one.
Yeah, so I have the 6 scale from Jazz Inc.
Word.
You
get the did you get the Batwing too or no?
I'm paying on that, man.
Man, I was
on that wait list.
I saw somebody with that in a picture, and they held this thing up. And like literally, they had the whole wingspan. They holding this. I was like, "Good God!"
Yeah, I'm scared of it, man. So I have an idea, and I think I'm gonna go into my ceiling, and I'm gonna drill into the beams in the ceiling. I'm gonna try to find them, and I'm gonna get that wire that they use in museums, and I'm gonna have it hanging from the ceiling, so you ain't gonna be able to see the wire.
Right.
Yeah.
Man, that. People, I'm sure the producer's gonna throw a picture. That thing is huge.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Dope, man. I actually did that with a diorama I made from I guess those are the action figures that are 3 3/4.
Yeah.
So I had a whole town that I created. And I found a guy on eBay that were making these garages out of like this foam board material. So I shot him a message and I said, "Hey, can you make me a building that looks like distressed and all of this?" And I wanted to call this building Pete and Brandon's toy store. My nickname was Pete when I was growing up. My brother was Brandon. So he built this building for me. He sent it and he wrote a letter. I hope this give you, I told him about my brother and he said, "I hope this give you comfort in your time of bereavement."
Right.
And so that building was like had damage, had caution tape on the windows. It looked like it was fire on it. So it was a building that was scaled for like G.I. Joe scale figures. So then I had him build me 4 more. I still got them in storage. And then I added all these characters. So I actually got pictures of it. So then I created this big scene. I had squad cars. I had dope bus going on. Like with the police had the guys on with their hands on the car. I had Marvel, I had G.I. Joe, I had the Cobras, I had Bruce Lee, I had Jason Voorhees, and all these characters I can find, and created different scenes in this chaotic town, and it was over 300 figures on it.
Wow.
So and then I started using that invisible string. So I had Superman flying, fighting Darkseid. I had Apocalypse flying, and he was fighting somebody from the X-Men. I still got pictures. So I was really into like doing stuff like that before I got major with collecting statues. And my room was a lot smaller at that time. You know, I was in a townhouse, so I couldn't do much with space. So
I was about to ask you, I see Chucky back there. You collect horror stuff too, or?
Some horror. So I got most of my horror stuff is the 6 scale stuff. From Sideshow Collectibles. I think one of them might be a hot toy, but I do have Jason Voorhees, I have Freddy Krueger, I got Michael Myers, and I got the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. In 6 scale, I got like a PVC figure of Hellraiser. I wish they would come out with a real figure. So that's not my primary. I used to have a doll like this from The Exorcist, and my wife made me sell it. She was like,
yeah.
And then after she told me to get it out of the house, man, I started feeling scared every time I looked at it, and I was like, I gotta sell it, and I put it on eBay. I couldn't get that thing out of my career.
I ain't gonna lie, like it's some like I couldn't have that Prime One none. I couldn't have that in my house. You know what I mean? Like because they got all them upside down crosses and stuff on it. Yeah, from the movie, I couldn't have that
much.
Yeah, I couldn't have that.
There was a company called Blue Box Hyper that did a life size bust of her. Oh man, it looks so real, dude.
No, yeah. Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
No.
I can't
see those type of movies are different than watching Jason and all that.
See, I was about to say that. See, I can do this. I can do the slashes. I can do the slashes. All this devil mess, I ain't watching that.
Yeah, because it seems like that can happen, man. You know,
yeah, for real. Yeah, I ain't doing that. No, absolutely not. You know, so we can't do that. So okay, this is what I like to find out because you know everybody know Vader's my dude. Like how did Batman become your guy? Was it from the animated series or it was just
you know what? I like Batman all the time.
Okay.
I like as far back as I can remember. Like for me as a kid, like it was Batman, Bruce Wayne, and it was Riggs from Lethal Weapon.
From Lethal Weapon, wow.
Yeah, so I got a couple Riggs action figures. They third party, but that's all they got out there. But I just thought, I guess I felt like a superhero with powers wasn't all that.
You sound like Rodney.
So like I felt like a regular dude who in comics, because it's coming up, Frank Miller was in the 80s, right? And then you see that Superman was defeated by Batman because he was just a master strategist. And then he put his body through so much to learn all these martial art styles. Plus he had money, and at that time he was a ladies' man. And you have something to kind of look at and aspire to.
Right.
Like just a cool dude, man. He come out at night and he stopped crime. And it was just an intriguing character. And to me, to this day, in my wilder voice, to this day, there are no comics other like his comic books are just intriguing, and his stories are limitless. I mean, look at now they got the metal line. Like they just keep Batman is so extensive. He has the most villains. It's like, and all his villains are just dope. Like to me, the Joker is like the all-time villain, and everything about the Batman lore. It's just, it's so intriguing. It just never gets old. I think he's probably the most sold outside of Superman and Spider-Man. Batman is that dude, and he don't have powers. And it's always like, man, if Batman had Superman powers,
oh yeah, he'd whip him easy.
It's over for everybody, though. It's over for everybody, but he doesn't. And he still go out there and fight crime side by side with these superheroes.
Right.
So that's why I like him. And part of that is why I like T'Challa as well. And that I started getting intrigued by T'Challa's story. Because that's my favorite in Marvel. And but the a quick trivia, the Black Panther was in 1966, and I think it was like June or July. But the Black Panther Party movement
came out after
in October, I think. So people don't know that. They believe that Stan Lee, they got it. From there, Jack Kirby, they got it from them, but that wasn't the case. And I always looked at Black Panther, and he reminded me, and he was like the Black Batman for me.
True.
But the other story that was weird about all of that is when they published it and they were sending the comics to the store, he had a cowl just like Batman's initially.
So they made him change it.
They didn't make him. What they did was they were putting black marker on his face over it. So then it kind of adopted that style. And I thought that was just like, so the history behind that, and he was so similar to Batman. He was rich, he knew martial arts, and he just was intelligent, a strategist, and he felt like a black Batman to me, and I think that's what made me start liking Black Panther. So
Hmm.
those are my two tops.
Yeah, see, I'm different because I never was a superhero guy. Because again, Vader's always been my favorite character, and it's different when it's a villain. You know what I mean? And so I just never, super. I mean, I thought they were cool and everything. I used to like Spider-Man, His Amazing Friends. That was my show. And mostly because of Stan Lee, was like, get ready, true believers. Today, that gets you hyped before you, with your cereal and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But a friend of mine, I don't call myself Thor because of this, but like he had me reading Thor, and I thought he was cool. It was one book, I think it was one, not the Kucheric brothers. Oh my God, the Cuban brothers. One of the Cuban brothers drew it, and he was fighting Gladiator. And that fight was cold, you know what I mean? And it went like for 3 books, and then I started reading it. Then next, they made Jane Foster Thor, and I started reading books about 7 years ago. Because my thing with books now is like it's too much turnover. Like every time you turn around, they starting with a new #1 and another volume. And I'm like, wait a minute, what happened to this? If you was enjoying that story. And then another thing, at least with Marvel, like I can't say this about DC. Marvel was catering to the movies too much for me. Like they made like Iron Man look like Downey, and everybody looked like they didn't. And I'm like, no, you can't do that, man. The books write the movies. The movies don't write the books. You know what I mean? So I just stopped.
Yeah, I feel you. The movies kind of they kind of took away from, and it's funny when you go to the movies with a novice. That's the word I'm gonna use.
Right.
And they don't really, and so then when they get to arguing with you about.
Right. Thank you.
It's like you don't even know comics.
Thank you.
Like, and I'm not trying to shut anybody down or make them feel less than, but it's kind of hard when you watching stuff and it's been watered down. And they don't know the history of comics. And then while we get so passionate about it, and then we seem like super nerds and abrasive,
right?
It's weird, man. So people need to know that it was comics written. So when we see stuff that's not canon and it don't line up, we do get upset because we want to see what was on the pages brought to life. And for me, interestingly enough, I think DC did that a little bit better to me in some aspects. Like for Zack Snyder, I was like, let this come to life. Let this man work. Stop messing with him, right? So that's when people say Marvel better than DC. And I'm like, are we having a Marvel DC discussion or are we having a Warner Brothers Disney discussion?
Right.
So when you have these creative guys who know comics, let them do their job.
Right.
And I think that could have been so much better, but I like the darkness of and the grittiness of like the Zack Snyder's Justice League. That's one of my favorite movies all time. But when they watered it down, what happened to his daughter, unfortunately, and they brought in the other guy, he watered it down and tried to make it more comedic, like some of the tones that you get from Marvel. And then they take characters like in Marvel, they take Carol Danvers and they OP her, man. Like you have her take one punch from Thanos and she just looking at him like it's nothing.
Right.
And they don't even know the true history of like Captain Marvel and that Captain Marvel actually is Shazam, started in DC. They took the name. So
yeah.
Like, and then even the first Captain Marvel was a dude, and they kind of they changed too many things up. Just write the story. We comic book fans deserve for a movie to be made based on the comics, and we get to see it taken right off the pages. When they do it correctly, man, we be up in the theater like, they got it, But when they water stuff down or they overpower certain characters or like they had the Hulk, like, dude, come out that shell, bro.
Yeah,
come out the shell. And it's just like at first you thought, okay, that's funny. Okay, that's a good joke.
Right.
Okay, world beater. Somebody come about.
Thank you.
He's like, why is Robert Downey Jr. the dude that got to sacrifice his human life to reverse everything when you already seen this man could take the gamma, even if a half a Hulk. when is he gonna break out the shell and snap the other finger and he get to reverse it and get his revenge?
Exactly.
That would have been better. So those are the things that I think irk some of us.
Oh yeah, and I remember watching the Wolverine, and they had this lizard chick, and I'm like, what? Who is she? Like all the mutant characters they got, they had to make. Like, I hate when they make people up. You know, what I mean, that thing that pisses me off even more than changing the story. When they make somebody up, I'm like, what do you need to make somebody up for? All these characters you got, and then I guess you get into they don't own the character or whatever it is. But man, it's terrible, man. But I will say this about DC: as far as animation go, they smoke Marvel badly.
Oh,
I mean, badly. I remember some of my favorite ones that Assault on Arkham, Under the Red Hood was cold.
Hush.
I don't think I saw Hush.
Hush is good.
I didn't see Hush.
I don't know why we don't have an actual Hush statue.
Right. I thought they were supposed to come out with one at some point, but they just never did. Flashpoint was amazing. DC man, they do it. If the movies were like the animation, it wouldn't even be close.
Oh man, Batman the animated series.
Oh yeah,
is a masterpiece, and I think it's
Definitely.
the #1 cartoon of all time. Behind it, I probably got Thundercats as my favorite than X-Men, but Batman the animated series is ridiculously good. Like it don't make no sense how good that is, and it's rewatchable.
It is, and some of the X-Men people don't like hearing that, but I just tell them the voice acting was so good, the stories were amazing, it was well thought out. One of my favorite ones is still, I think it was called Over the Edge when the Scarecrow hit Batgirl with the fear toxin, and her worst fear was that her father would find out that he's Batman, and she in her dream or whatever she died, and then Commissioner Gordon was chasing over after he even got Bane out of jail to come stop it, come help him stop, and then she woke up, and of course it was all a dream, and then of course World's Finest. When him and Superman and Batman hooked up against Joker and Lex Luthor, that was like a 3-parter or something. I can't remember.
Yeah, all that animation that was based on that style was so dope.
Yeah,
and just think about what Batman animated series. You got 2 of the best voice actors in the history of mankind, Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill. Like the Joker, like Mark Hamill as the Joker voice is my Joker.
Yeah, I agree.
Kevin Conroy's Batman voice is my Batman. It's like because they did the video games too.
Yeah,
they did the Arkham video game. So it's so nostalgic and historic, man. I got that box set in Blu-ray, and I got it in DVD. So
I remember when somebody told me that was Mark Hamill. I was like, Mark Hamill, who? They were like, Luke Skywalker. I said, man, ain't no Luke Skywalker. And I remember them flashing it up on. I said, whatever. Until I saw a special one time when they showed him doing it. I was like, huh? Yeah. I couldn't believe it because it sounds nothing like him. You know what I mean? It's just amazing, But I always like to ask my Batman fans this. So, like, far as the movies go, who was your favorite Batman? Like forget about because people talk about the movie. I'm talking like who was actually your favorite actor as Batman? Mine too, without question.
It's not even. I'm not gonna say it's not even close because right after him is Michael Keaton is number 2 for me.
Right.
Because to me, Michael Keaton's face was born to be Batman. His face. And Jack Nicholson's face was born to be Joker at that time. They couldn't have cast 2 like the man's the cow in his face look alike. I'm talking about Michael Keaton.
Right.
But overall, from Batman to Bruce Wayne to the size to and all I can think about
the suit too.
The suit was off the chain.
The suit too.
And the best version of that suit, I think, is Suicide Squad when he put that.
Oh yeah.
But his build, what he did to get in shape, he had chiseled abs. He was huge, 6'4", a brute, and I love the scruffiness of the.
Yeah, I was going to mention that. Yeah,
and I was so against when they said Ben Affleck, but then when I seen that movie, I think it was Gone Girl.
Yeah. I saw
Kinda
that
like
too,
before,
actually. Yeah.
before all that came out.
Yeah.
And they said that was his movie, that he was, and then he did Argo.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay. When I saw Gone Girl, I was like, he can do dark. So I had to kind of say, okay, let's see what happened.
Yeah.
When he put on that suit, when he got up to 240 pounds, and he had to be around 10% body fat, and he had no distractions in his life. Like at that time, I think he wasn't with J-Lo.
No.
Maybe she's not a distraction today, but
Right.
at that time, I was like, I was pissed that we didn't get a movie, that we didn't get a Batman solo movie with Ben Affleck,
Right.
that he should have produced in conjunction with Zack Snyder. I just think everything about his Batman, that to me, it was no flaws.
I agree. I totally agree.
The first thing that I thought about when I seen it, dang, his movie should have been called The Dark Knight, not Bale's.
Thank you.
Because Bale felt more like a Terry McGinnis, Batman Beyond.
Yeah, I can see that.
More futuristic.
I can see that.
So when I looked at Ben, I was like, that right there is The Dark Knight.
Mm-hmm.
That's Frank Miller.
Because he was killing people.
Yeah.
Too.
But the way he was built was Dark Knight,
right.
Frank Miller. And I was like, his movie should have been called Dark Knight and Dark Knight Returns.
And I'm gonna tell you, I always tell people, if all the rest of them look like Batman that they made for a movie, like they don't look like Batman from the books. He looked like Batman from the books.
From the book.
And when that warehouse scene came out, I said, that's it. I said, finally, that's it. I said, because Bale always did this old lame mess. I was like, what is he doing? And when he talked,
where are they?
Oh my God, I couldn't stand. I hated that.
Where are they?
Good. And I was like, geez. And I literally one time I was in a movie like
Falcone and his goons.
I was in a movie like this. I said, please stop talking. Please. The only thing tight I thought that he ever did was that scene from the first one when they played that game where he had to find Ra's al Ghul and everything. I thought that was slick. But all the rest of his little fight scenes, I was like, yeah, this dude.
But the movies
were great. Don't get me twisted. But the stories, but just him, I just couldn't. I was like, I see you took Affleck and put him in these movies. It'd have been probably the best things you ever seen in your life. You know what I mean?
But I got Bale and I don't know, because Robert Pattinson's Batman was pretty cool to me.
Yeah, I was about to ask you about that. Yeah,
but I do have Ben. If I had to put them in order, I'm gonna put Ben number 1. I'm gonna put Michael Keaton number 2.
Okay.
I'm gonna put Adam West number 3. I'm gonna put Bale number 4, and then Pattinson, because Pattinson got to do some more stuff. I would have probably had Bale at 3, but Adam West was so nostalgic, and his face, the cow in the face was synonymous. Right. You know what I mean?
And I mean, at the time, he was perfect, because that was Batman at that time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You didn't get Batman we know now till The Dark Knight Returns came out. You know what I mean? Then that's when everything changed. Yeah. But now I wanted to get in, before we run out of time, I want to get into, so you got a channel. Yeah. When did you start decide you want to do a statue channel?
During the pandemic, but I was like, man, kind of bored. I was like, let me start a channel. Then I kind of dabbled with it. At first, I started off wearing a mask. I was disguised as voice. I was like, man.
What's up, YouTube? It's FRI the Kollector. That's PhATAL the Kollector with a K. Okay, today it's my first video, and I'm gonna be doing a review of doll stands. Well, I like to call them action figure stands, but they're the Kaiser doll stands.
And it wasn't really doing anything, but at that time I wasn't thinking about it. And but I started because I just wanted to do something, and show people my love for it. And I started off like reviewing little stuff, and I said I continuously get bigger and bigger. And I had this thing that I was gonna if I get to 1,000 subs, I'll reveal my face. I'm like, it was goofy. It was stupid. Because then you know, people like to see your personality and all that. So
True.
that whole mask dark thing, it was cool. It was just an idea, but it didn't stick. I was like, man, and then I started seeing people doing the live chats, and then I got into that. So I think it's been about maybe 2.5, 3 years. Because I started off, I didn't really do much. It was a video every 3 months, you know, but you know, life make it a little difficult to be on YouTube every day unless you're young and don't have children.
Thank you.
So sometimes when people see you walk away for a minute, they be like, where you at? You letting us down type thing. And I'm like, man, I have a wife.
Preach.
I'm about to have 18 years married. I have 3 daughters.
Preach.
I mean, I'm a lieutenant in my profession, and so I'm working, and I do want to be on YouTube more. It's fun. It's funny because I told my wife, man, I'm gonna stop doing this YouTube stuff, and she said, I'd rather you stop collecting statues than stop YouTube.
Wow.
She said, because I've watched your show, and she said, that's your stress relief. You're having fun. You're being yourself. Keep your channel. And then I was like, you know, sometimes I think about if somebody at my job criticized me for it. She was like, what you worried about that for? You ain't saying nothing crazy. You don't be cussing. You know, you just chill and hang out. She was like, if anybody mad at that, then I don't know what to say. But in my opinion, I think you should keep your channel. I think you should keep doing it. It's positive. It seemed like you get along. You're meeting people all over the world. She was like, keep your channel. That's the one thing my wife told me to keep out of all this collecting, you know. So I enjoy it.
So as a collector, what's the most challenging thing you found to be like, as you know, as a statue collector, not as a YouTuber per se?
Space.
Yeah. It's the enemy.
Stuff. And now with so much coming out, and it seemed like statue companies are slowing down, but with so many good things coming out, money. And it'll get you in trouble. And I'm not even gonna front, man. I'm probably gonna do a whole video about it. This stuff can be very taxing on your wallet.
Yes.
And sometimes as a statue collector, if it's something that you think is gonna sell out, you may press the buy button when you might say, you know what, I need to do this first, but if I don't get it, and then you'll spend money you shouldn't be spending.
Yes.
I think that's a challenge. So the money aspect, and then the space, because if you have a large collection, you want it to be displayed so you can enjoy it. And it needs to have an environment for it to breathe and for it to be admired. And if it's just all clunked up like my stuff is right now, you like, dang, man, I got too much. Right. So those are the challenges.
Yeah, I agree. I had to slow down a lot, you know, and because I didn't get anything in for like a year, and I just got a couple when we went to the Collector's Barbecue. I got a couple pieces, and I got one thing on pre-order that's almost paid off, thank goodness. And so I think, you know, I agree wholeheartedly with what you say. You know, people, you can't let this consume you. You know what I mean? It's like when you start to get out of your means and stuff, and I mean, because it can become an addiction. You know, and so
if it had cocaine on it, I'd be dead.
I'm trying to tell you, you know, don't. I mean, I've had several people come on here and say, you know, a roof over your head is more important, food in your mouth, your bills paid, and peace of mind is way more important than these freaking statues. You know,
Polystone junkies.
Yeah, I mean that's what it is. That's what it is, and people be fronting. You know what I mean? So I want to get, before we totally run out, I want to get into this GOAT debate, because I'm with you know, these people, these LeBron people get on my oh my God. The mere thought of that, like when they first said it, I was like, LeBron is the GOAT. What is wrong with these people? And because I grew up, you know, Jordan and everything. Now, a quick story. It was never, I never disliked Jordan at all. Just the Bulls, none of that stuff. Now because I can't stand front runners. They make me sick. You know what I mean? So when I was in high school, the 3 years I was in high school was the 3 years the Bulls three-peated the first time.
Yeah.
And so I remember the first year when they beat the Lakers, that whole year before they won, nobody. Maybe it was 2 Bulls fans, maybe 2. After they won, I swear everybody, like the next year, everybody. I was like, wait a minute. I said, I thought you was it. And now forget about Magic. And I said, oh, come on, man. So I would root against them because I would want them to lose. You know what I mean? Because because I don't like it wasn't the Bulls per se I was rooting against. And so of course they won all 3 years. And but I always had much respect for Jordan. Yeah. This dude makes me sick because he does this little mess. We can't win here, so I'm gonna go to another team and I'm gonna go, you know what I mean, and I'm gonna go sign everybody up. And to me, he lobbies to be the GOAT. Like Jordan ain't never lobbied to be the GOAT. He just went out there and did it.
Correct.
And this dude up here talking about, well, and here's the thing that made me sick this year. Okay, well, I know I'm never gonna catch him, so I'm gonna be the all-time leading scorer, and let's look at that. And I'm like, I said, it's always something with this cat.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So again, I do believe Michael Jordan is the greatest player of all time, and I maybe think LeBron is maybe third or fourth. I mean, I know he's because nobody called Kareem Abdul-Jabbar the GOAT when he had it. So how come you the GOAT now?
Yeah,
and you 4-6 in the finals.
Precisely.
So that's how I feel about it.
All right. So right now LeBron is sitting over 38,000.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Jordan got 32,200 and some points.
Thank you.
Jordan averaged 30.12. It's the highest point per game average in NBA history. He has 10 scoring titles. That's more than anybody. Michael Jordan played officially 1,072 games. You divide that by 82, that's 13.07. So officially he played 13 full seasons. Of the time he played 9 games 82 times. I think one year he played 81 games. Another year he might have played 80. In his final season with a bad knee, he played all 82 games at 40 years old. So that being said, if Jordan is healthy, and when an injury for Jordan is like he had a broken foot,
right?
He literally couldn't play, and he wanted to come back sooner than they let him. So that season, he played about 16, 17 games. So you can't count that as a year, but they do in the history books. And then the year that he returned from the retirement, he played about 17, 18 games. They counted that as a season. So when they say 15 seasons, they count those 2 as seasons. He only played 11 healthy seasons with the Bulls because he retired and he had a broken foot. So out of the 14, he retired. He missed a whole season. He played 17 in one season, and he had the broken foot. So he missed pretty much 3 years of his prime. Okay. When healthy, he always is available. He don't load manage. That's a LeBron thing.
Thank you.
So at 30 point, so if Jordan, his 3 healthy seasons, right? We multiply that by 82, right? Times 3. And you add that to 1,072 games. That gives you 1,072 games, and you're going to add 3 more seasons to that, 246 more games, right? And I just want to do this math real quick so people can understand that that's 1,318 games times 30.12 because he missed. Remember, I said he missed in his prime. He missed those games but he always played 82 games, right? That's 39,700 points. If he played just all of the seasons, if he didn't retire, and that would have officially gave him 16 years of playtime.
Mm-hmm.
Correct? If he didn't retire and he didn't break his foot, he would have had played 16 years of full playtime, and he would have had 39,700 points. Now, LeBron has played officially 18.3 seasons or something like that, and he got the record. But Jordan could have eclipsed that record and been in front of him by playing 2 less full seasons, right? But if Jordan played 20 years, right, at 82 games, oh my God, times
you probably
30.12, you're talking about 49,400 points. Okay, I had to do that. Yep. He also has the highest player efficiency rating in NBA history in both the playoffs and the regular season. He also is the only player to win a Defensive Player of the Year, MVP, Finals MVP, a championship, a steals title, and be on the first team all defensive in NBA history. So these things he did. he played both sides of the ball.
Yes.
Jordan always guarded. This whole notion that Scottie Pippen guarded the best player all the time. Go look up when they played Detroit Pistons, one of the seasons, and Grant Hill was working Scottie, and they had to put Mike on him just to win the game to slow Grant Hill down. Michael Jordan was a better defensive player than Scottie. He taught Scottie how to play defense. Scottie Pippen came out of Little Rock, Arkansas somewhere, right? And he was a long body and all of that. But you're going to be a great defender if you got to stick Mike in practice all the time. And I love Scottie Pippen. I met Scottie Pippen. He was my favorite Bull growing up. He still is my favorite Bull. Michael Jordan, the GOAT. Scottie Pippen was my favorite Bull. This stuff that's going on, that is, I don't know where it's coming from. I didn't think The Last Dance was that crazy. But Michael Jordan is unequivocally the GOAT. And I would say that LeBron James is not number 2. That's going to have to be Kareem Abdul-Jabbar or Wilt Chamberlain. So if you go back and watch Wilt Chamberlain, he had a year where he averaged like 57 points and like 20 plus rebounds per game. Astronomical amounts. And in his prime, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar couldn't do nothing with no Wilt. So Wilt got to be in that top 3 discussion. And I'm putting Kobe in front of him because of the eras that they played in. 2003, basketball started getting very weak. From 75 to 2003, basketball was at its height. Before that was a little weaker, but Wilt was dominating a weaker opponent. But man, the 57 and 20 something rebounds was ridiculous on 70% shooting or something crazy like that. He did that before. So when we had these GOAT discussions, we got to look at era, and LeBron is able to sustain this because this is a era where the defense is not is prevalent. So in this era, a prime Michael Jordan is averaging 45. Okay,
I'm trying to tell
you had Isaiah Thomas. I'm talking about Boston Celtics. Isaiah Thomas lead the league in scoring at 5'8".
See,
ain't nobody 5'8" leading the league in scoring in the 90s or the 80s. So it's just easier to score. It's more points being put on the board. You got 130, 100 because all they doing is shooting a bunch of threes. Ain't nobody playing defense. And it's funny because they said, well, Jordan dominated a less athletic era, and he was the most athletic guy. Jokic can't jump over a piece of paper, and he just dominated the whole league. So I don't want to hear about athleticism.
Thank you.
I think I did my best.
No, that's cool. That's cool. I mean, I've been trying to tell people, and you know, it's if you were there to see it, and you weren't a little kid, then we wouldn't have this discussion.
Correct.
You know what I mean? So before we split, I wanted to, because I've heard you talk about edition size and collecting. What's your take on it, you know, as far as collecting goes and edition size? Because I've heard you talk about it a lot of times.
All right. So I got some flack from some of the community for this about what I call a real collector. It was kind of a joke between me and the crippler. So somebody took it serious, but you do what you want to do.
Right.
But in my collection, I'm gonna tell you that I value something like if you got a Bugatti that's 1 of 10, people gonna be like, dang,
right,
wow,
right,
keep that boy nice. And when we look at collectibles, we like to keep them dusted. We would like to dust them off. We wanted to look pristine. But if everybody got it, then how great is it if everybody has it, right?
Right.
We can go back to Jordan with his shoes when he come out with a limited edition. That you getting shoes that cost $15,000. If you can get a Jordan 1 and it was game worn, it's going to be worth hundreds of, maybe not millions. Right. So having something that is a rare piece, a rare find, something that is a character that everybody loves, but say they didn't make a lot of them, right? They made 150 of them. And it's like, if that Superman Hush was only 150 in the world, it'd be going for 10 grand, right? They may have made over 1,000 of them. So it's going for about 3 grand, but it's still tripled. At one point, it was 5 grand. The reason people are willing to pay that amount of money is because of the rarity. To me, that's kind of what makes it a collectible. Now, you should jump on these things. If you like it, you love it, you should jump on it right away. You shouldn't wait till it becomes a grail in somebody else's eyes, because sometimes I might look at the statue and be like, I don't know why that's a grail.
I've done that. I've done it.
But sometimes people might not even want a statue and they'll buy it anyway because everybody else said it's a grail. And YouTube can get you in trouble.
Very true.
Aspect. So I'm not buying nothing I don't like just because somebody else said it was a grail. It was an old Incredible Hulk that I thought looked like trash, and it was going for 10 G's. It was a
I know exactly the one you're talking about.
So yeah, I have to personally like the way the piece looks, but it's like the cool kids is like the ones that got the vet. That you got that vet. Which one you got? Oh yeah, I got the base model. Oh man, I got that that 100-year anniversary one, and they only made 10 of them. Man, you got to be kidding me. I need to see that. Oh my God. So even the people who don't have it, they want to see it in your collection because they like, man, really, you got one of those? Are you kidding me? Come on. Right. So the rarity of it, being one of the only people in the world to have it, is a special feeling for me. If that ain't the way you collect, then hey. But for me, it does hold some value. But I do got to like the piece too.
Right.
Hey,
I couldn't say it any better. I agree, but I'm not going to poo-poo somebody that got one, high edition size. But I do agree with what you're saying. That if you got like that one, that's like 75 of those. And but I mean, to me, that's like secondary. Like it's like, okay, that's great. If it's, but if I need it in my collection, I need it in my collection, But like you said, so but I do agree.
Mythos Darth Vader is one of the dopest Mythos statues. That new one, I don't have to buy it right now though, because it's 12,000 of them.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm gonna get it, but it's not one that I got to get that right now because it ain't going nowhere. Wolverine like this from Sideshow still on the website.
Yep. And every week they it's 15% off or something and 20% off or something.
And it's a pretty decent statue, and it's not that expensive, but it's still there. Yeah.
But anyway, man, I really appreciate you coming. We done ran out of time. Been an hour already. Can you believe it?
Man.
But before we go, tell people where they can find you and when you come on and all that stuff. And
all right, so my YouTube channel was actually called FRI, just like you see on the screen, The Kollector. Kool Nerdz is my Facebook group. I'm thinking about changing my actual YouTube channel to Kool Nerdz Lounge because I just wanted to be for everybody, to be honest with you. So I'm thinking about that. But right now it's FRI the Kollector. So you can find me on there. Saturdays, I'm going to be doing my show. I had to switch for Monday nights because of work. So probably around noon Central Standard Time, we'll be doing some shows, and I'll be inviting, if you like to join the show, I have a topic and shoot you a link. That's going to be the format of it. It's going to have like a Saturday morning cartoon type vibe. Them days we used to eat cereal in front of the TV. That's the vibe that I want to go with since it's going to be on Saturdays. You'll see Darth Rashid with me, my uncle, the fun uncle, Redeemer 23, my boy Herc, Sam Crippler will be on there. My boy Demetrius rarely is on there, but he comes through. And then my man Dante, they call him Mr. Freeze.
Not Mr. Freeze, Jesus.
Yeah, because he'll be like, and then his face will be real close to the camera. But so we have fun. We just talk, but we talk a little bit about other things other than statues. We talk about movies. We talk about other things in pop culture. So just cool nerds stuff, man. So but FRI the Kollector. And when I get to 1,000 subs, I got quite a few giveaways, man. I'm just gonna be giving away some stuff, man. I'm in that like Christmassy type spirit. And I just want to bless some people with some nice pieces. And one of the subscribers said he wanted to give some stuff away on my channel. So I'm a little bit over halfway there. So hopefully we can get there so I can ship it out. I'm not asking nobody to pay for shipping from me personally if I ship it out. But yeah, that's what we got going on right now.
All righty. Well, I appreciate you coming on.
And the room,
room tour, next room tour coming up soon, y'all. So hey, look, man, I appreciate you coming on. It was great chatting with you. And we will catch y'all next time. I'm just asking for a friend. See you, everybody.
All right, peace, y'all. God bless.